Hey there, it's Rebecca. Before we dive into today's episode, I have something exciting to share. If you've been dreaming about starting your own interior design business, but you're feeling stuck on what to do first, how to set things up legally, or even how to find your first clients, this is your sign. Doors are now open for my Launch Your Business Bootcamp, an 8-week step-by-step program designed to help you build a profitable design business from the ground up. You'll learn everything from clarifying your brand and setting up your systems to getting your contracts and finances in order so you can start your business with confidence and direction. I'll be walking alongside you the whole way, mentoring you through each step so you're never left wondering what to do next. And the best part? You'll be part of a community of other designers doing it right alongside you. So, if you're ready to stop dreaming and finally launch your design business the right way, go sign up now at ourworddesign.com. You'll also find the link in the show notes. All right, let's get into today's episode. You're now listening to Design Curious, a place where you, creative one, are here to learn about what it really is like to be an interior designer. And I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. If you're worried about how to succeed in a creative career, if you're ready to learn your next steps to become an interior designer, and if you want the satisfaction of doing something you love every day, you are in the right place. Grab a coffee, a notebook, and let's dig into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to episode 168 of Design Curious Podcast. I'm your host and mentor, Rebecca Ward. Today on the podcast, I have guest Katie Malik. Katie is an award-winning interior designer and founder of Interior Design Deconstructed. With a master's in philosophy from Cambridge University and training in house whispering, a unique psychotherapy of space combined with advanced Feng Shui, Katie transforms both homes and businesses. She's a triple winner at the UK Property Awards with 13-plus industry accolades, named among the top 100 architects and designers worldwide, and featured in Architectural Digest, Grand Designs magazines, and The Times. As a BIID mentor and educator with over 5 years of teaching experience, Katie empowers emerging designers while creating harmonious spaces that prioritize health, happiness, ethics, and aesthetics. So listen in. I think you will enjoy what Katie has to say. We were very much aligned in our passion for mentorship of up-and-coming designers. So I think you'll enjoy this conversation today. Hi, Katie. Welcome to Design Curious Podcast. It's great to have you here today.
Hi, Rebecca. Thank you so much for having me. It's a great pleasure to be one of your guests.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to our conversation and I would love to just learn a little bit more about you. So why don't you tell us how you found a path into interior design?
I think it's a great question. There are so many interior designers who came from a different background, which is always so interesting and inspiring to hear for aspiring interior designers who are looking to change their careers and pivot into interior design. So before I became an interior designer, I was a teacher. I taught mainly English for academic purposes. My job was primarily in education, in private education and higher education. And at some point, I realized that if I continued on this path, if I continued in academia, if I continued with my PhD, I would end up being miserable. And that something was missing. And I didn't quite know what it was. So just to give a little bit of a background, before I studied linguistics and education and teaching, I actually wanted to study architecture. So it was always there with me.
Mm-hmm.
And during one of dinners with my friend, she kind of opened me up to this whole idea of why don't you just do something that you always wanted but never had a chance to, for whatever reason, you kind of took a different path. And that's when I thought, okay, I'm going to see if interior design is for me. So I signed up to a course, like an 8 weeks course initially, just to see if that was suitable. And I think that's a great way to kind of test it, especially if someone is thinking of changing their careers into interior design. It's a great great way to test. It was a clear yes. So I continued my education, went to Chelsea College of Art, which is amazing, and also National Design Academy here. Now, getting into the business of interior design is a whole other thing. I had worked for studios in London where I learned so much, but the transition was, well, I would say, taking into consideration the time, it was fairly short. But what I then had to deal with, that what came with running your own business is another story that we can, of course, explore. But that's kind of a story in a nutshell.
Okay. Very interesting. Yeah. And I think that education, the career of education, is very different from entrepreneurship. So then let's go there with like learning to do business in interior design. I mean, because it's a lot of people are like, yes, I'm following my passion. I want to be a designer. But most of the time, that also requires you to be an entrepreneur. And
Yes.
so that doesn't always come, like, that's not the same passion, like people are not always passionate about building a business. And there's a lot of things to learn along the way. So why don't you talk a little bit about that path or a struggle? If it
Okay.
was. Yeah.
It's a very good question. And yeah, definitely, I think we need to talk more about this because, yeah, following your passion is one thing. Building a business is completely different. So I went into this with my eyes completely closed, completely blinded by my passion, right? All I wanted to do was interior design and I wanted to do it my way. And I had these visions about how it's going to look like. But then it just hit me like a ton of bricks that I was completely unprepared and unequipped to run a business. So I needed to learn how to do it really, really fast. I remember this was like well over 10 years ago. There weren't that many resources on running a business in interior design, at least here in the UK. And I remember I used to actually do a lot of research and try to contact more interior designers from the States because it seemed like people were a little bit more open to talk about this. Whereas in the UK it was still a little bit more closed off, so it was a lot more difficult. But what I've done, because I realized very quickly, okay, I have no business skills. I can read books, I can ask people, but I don't have them. So what I started doing, I invested in coaching. I invested in business networking. I invested in learning the business skills from others as quickly as I could, so I would make fewer mistakes possible. But I always had this imposter syndrome that, oh my God, I didn't go to business school. I don't have the business skills. It's my first business. What is this? Like, I just wanted to be an interior designer.
I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, it was like, I didn't sign up for that. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
No, I just want to design. Why? Why this? Why that? But I did start with a business for interior designers, which was an additional course that Chelsea College of Art organized years ago, which was a great, like a top-up course, but it was just an introduction. What really helped me gain those business skills was coaching. That was one thing, business networking, and then specifically business training with more private coaches and private training rather than going back to the business school and learning all these things. Yeah.
Okay. And in your bio, you talk about house whispering, like a psychotherapy of space combined with advanced Feng Shui. So tell us about that kind of training. And I think that's a niche that not a lot of people are in. So it's definitely something that you specialize in. So explain a little more about what that is.
Right. So yeah, it's a fascinating topic and a fascinating discipline. So house whispering, as it stands, was coined by a former architect, Christian Kyriakou. So he resides here in the UK. And he runs the academy where he trains others in house whispering. And I fell into this because I was always interested in energy work and self-development. I'm not even sure how I heard of him. I have no idea how it happened, but it happened.
Yeah.
And this was kind of around COVID. So I thought, what a great way to gain more skills and fill my time, right?
Yeah.
So that was absolutely brilliant. So house whispering is a very deep psychotherapy of space. So what a trained house whisperer would do is basically work with the energy of the space, the energy of a client as well, to underpin the reasons why things don't work harmoniously in their home. And this could range from all sorts of things, such as ghosts,
Hmm.
things that break constantly. It will also look at like sleep, maybe disruptions or any disruptions that are happening within the space. Also can help with when people are applying for planning permissions that are constantly being rejected for no reason,
Hmm.
or are struggling to sell their home or move out or
Hmm.
even move in. I mean, you name it. Or they bought a plot, they want to build a house, and things just start going wrong.
Mm.
And we've heard of these things. So, house whispering tackles these challenges. But in my course, I was the only interior designer.
Hmm.
A lot of the other participants and students were actually therapists.
Okay.
So they do that as a supplementary course to their practice because they recognize that a lot of what their clients struggle with is kind of attached to their home. Whereas
Hmm.
I thought, oh my God, what a great skill to have as an interior designer if someone is particularly struggling with certain aspects. And I've actually managed to, of course, practice the skills with actually one of the current projects at that time. We were struggling to obtain actually planning permission for certain alterations in a graded listed building. So I run a session with my client. Her husband was extremely negative about it. It's like, I don't believe this. Okay, you
Sure.
do this. I don't care. I don't believe in that. This is some woo-woo stuff. And actually, once we did the session and we've done all the clearing and we've found the root cause of a problem, 2 weeks later, the planning permission did come.
Mm.
So it is quite a powerful thing to do. It's very complex, so I'm not going to go
Sure.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
depending on what the challenge might be, we might be getting different techniques to work with the energy of the space and with the energetic architecture of the space. But it always boils down to the house mirrors us.
Wow. What a unique niche to have. And I'm sure I don't know anyone with that skill here in California. So, yeah, so it really gives you an edge on that. And I think that would be a really interesting avenue to explore. So, how long have you had your business then? Have
So
you
I
been on your own?
started,
Yeah.
yeah, I started in 2014.
Okay.
So yeah, 11 years. For my first projects, because I was still quite inexperienced, I felt like I didn't have enough experience. I teamed up with designers who I met in the studio where I worked because they were freelancers there for just basically subcontracted for specific projects. And I asked them for help, and that was the best decision. So I also always encourage designers who are basically transitioning from something or they don't have a lot of experience, but they land a big renovation project to just team up with more
Mm.
experienced designers just to ensure that they won't make big mistakes in the
Mm-hmm.
process and the project goes smoothly. So that's what I did. And then I grew very slowly. I was actually listening to your previous episode that September. I know
Mm-hmm.
this won't be aired until December, but it was really interesting to hear. I can't remember the name of the designer, but she was talking about how she grew so fast and then she became this manager
Mm-hmm.
and it was so overwhelming and I think that I always wanted to keep my practice very small because at some point I had a few people and it was really overwhelming. So now I keep it to the bare minimum of like four of us, like overall. I can't cope with more. I do admire people who have 20 plus and 40 plus designers under them, but I kind of thought, like, this is not for me. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to manage the dynamics. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be the manager. I still want to design. I want to be involved in every single project. I want to do a great job. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's an important thing to know too, because it takes you to a whole nother level of being a business owner is to manage a larger group and to know that you're like, I love being in the smaller phase. And that's great to like just be able to hone in on that aspect of it and not have to build an empire necessarily. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a choice. And I think this is something that I also learned at the business training course, one of the first ones that I took that was specifically organized for interior designers. And I always encourage designers, like, if you want to learn business, learn from other interior designers. Go find your coach, find a person you resonate with, take their courses, take the coaching, because they will know, they will have had the experience of firsthand of issues, challenges, and everything, right? If you go to just a business coach that deals with non-designers, right? Or helps just businesses in general, yes, you will learn a lot, but they will never quite understand you and your challenges like another interior designer. So yeah, coming back to what I just started saying, our trainer said you have to decide how big you want to grow, because that will drive your business, that will drive your marketing, that will drive your branding. And big businesses are not for everybody, but small businesses are not for everybody either. So you have to kind of decide how big you want to be, and this will help you drive the business, which I thought was such a valuable tip to give to aspiring designers.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's really good. So you are in the UK. Did you find a coach who is in the UK, or did you go like America or Canada? Or did it matter to you when you were trying to learn?
No, it didn't matter. What mattered more were the people and what they could offer. So I actually had a number of coaches, and some of them were UK based, and some of them were UK based, but not English. They had international experience. They were immigrants like me. Then I had a coach from the US. I had a coach from Canada. So I think actually having a variety of people, everybody will bring something else to the table and will have a slightly different flavor. Things are maybe run differently in the States or in Canada than here, or to Europe, definitely. But at the same time, everyone will bring something valuable from that sector or from that country. So I think it's actually really good to train internationally, because it opens the mindset. Someone can know something that something is done in a way in a country that actually no one knows about it in the UK, and actually maybe they're doing things better. Especially, like I mentioned at the beginning of our chat, that initially when I started, there were very, very few resources and no one really wanted to share in the UK. I used to basically just ask designers from the States, and they were very giving and very open about what I should do, how they would approach it. So I really valued that. And I think there's no harm in asking and learning from people across the pond.
Yeah, because design is design. And I think getting that different perspective is good as well. Like, just to see how other people are doing it outside of your circle is beneficial. Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. Yes.
Yeah. So over the past then 11 or so years, what are some other maybe challenges or things that you've learned that you'd love to share with someone who's just thinking about starting out?
That's a very, very good question. A lot of challenges. I would say definitely start with your eyes wide open. So if you want to start your business, do go and learn some business skills and get yourself a coach, or at least enroll in courses. If you can't afford a coach, enroll in courses and start learning about business, because it's not going to be just beautiful designs. Then another step is scaling. So when you scale your business, you need to have a very clear goal, and you need to know when to hire, but also what I've learned, you need to know when to fire. And sometimes holding on to, again, people just because you like somebody, because they were maybe your first hire or you have that history with them, is not going to help you scale your business. So what I've learned is that, and I think it might happen to a lot of creatives, that first and foremost, if you run your business, you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur. And as much as you love design, it doesn't really matter, unfortunately, because your business comes first, right? So you might like people, design is important, of course, but ultimately you run your business. So I would say that was like one of the biggest challenges for me. And I think it's very important to say that. And also, if you do want to scale up, yes, you can't be doing this on your own. So you need to build a team. You need to be surrounding yourself with people who are suitable for your goals. So, and this is again something that I've done, and it's not necessarily always a bad thing, but I think I made like kind of like a full circle, because initially I was working with more experienced senior designers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of went to hire somebody who I thought I could mold. And so I think both of those avenues can work. But again, you need to be honest with yourself, like, what is that I actually need? And build from that, rather than, oh, I can afford to hire a junior, I can't afford to buy to hire a senior.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with a junior. But you have to realize that getting a junior is gonna be very time consuming, and it's gonna take a very long time until you can actually offload some of your work, right? And they might be bright and they might pick up very soon, but it still will be a lot longer and more challenging than working with a senior interior designer. So yeah, just working this out, and that depends 100% on the outcome and where you want to drive your business to. But I would say working with more experienced people will drive your business higher. And then you can, of course, build the pyramid, the foundation with juniors as not an issue. But being just mindful of that and being aware. I would also say the one thing that I always talk about that is so important and that I think made a huge impact on my business are the systems. So all the internal systems. And again, some creatives can just go with the flow. But I think if you have internal systems, so if you have all the templates ready for your business, then it's just going to be so much less stressful for you. So having that systemized and internal operations is paramount to the success of the business and to your own mind, to yourself. Like, you owe it to yourself, because otherwise you'll be like, oh my God, what do I do now? Oh my God, where do I take this? So if you kind of like prep everything, just if you would like work on a concept design before you show it to a client,
right,
then I think if you approach your business from the same angle, then you're setting yourself up for success, not for failure.
Yeah, that's really good insight. And especially, I love the part about, maybe what you need is a senior designer first, because you are going to get so much more out of that more experienced designer, and it's going to advance your business and so much faster than spending time training an entry level person. So that's good insight. And then, the systems just to help keep you from overwhelm. Like, if you can set those up early, for sure, that's great advice. Well, you have a lot of great insight, and I know you have a podcast as well. Would you like to shout it out on here so we can go check it?
Of course, yeah. Yeah, so it's Interior Design Deconstructed, and the focus is basically to empower aspiring interior designers in their business skills. So I invite interior designers, and I also invite business specialists, because I think there's so much to learn from them as well. And there's so much to know. I learned from this podcast by inviting these people. I mean, I work with some of them, but some of them I haven't worked yet. And I'm just so curious to learn from them how else we can enhance business, right? I mean, recently, so it was a September episode, we had Dr. Vanya Lievar as one of the podcast guests, and she talked about how her business that she co-founded helps businesses and brands really understand their ideal client, right? I mean, ideal client is a very big thing in interior design as well. But she gave a lot of beautiful explanations about how they do that and what to look out for. So this is what my podcast does. I try to invite business specialists and other interior designers just to share the insights as well and get tips and inspiration maybe as well for business.
Yeah, and probably pulling some of your education background of just wanting to inform others and help them to learn to do better and everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the point of the podcast, really. That's the main focus. And I wish, when I was starting, there's so much out there, like 11 years ago. I mean, if someone really wants to, there are resources and there's lots of support. And what's beautiful is that a lot of designers offer this coaching now because they have this, I feel they want to give back. And this is amazing. That's why I said, like, if you have a choice between a more generalist coach and a business coach and then interior design coach, so someone who actually has taken their experience and is willing to share, then that's worth so much more because it's very specialist and they can really resonate with your challenges and help guide you. So I think it's such a beautiful thing that people started doing these days with the podcast, like your Rebecca coaching. So it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you too, Katie. So where could people find you if they want to reach out and ask you more about anything that you talked about today?
So if anybody would like to know about house whispering, that they should definitely head to katiemalik.co.uk. And for training and business support and podcasts, it's Interior Design Deconstructed.co.uk, and podcast is the same. It's Interior Design Deconstructed on Spotify, and I think now on Apple. I haven't actually checked whether it's connected, but I try to connect the two. So that's how they can find me.
Great. Okay, well, we'll put those links in the show notes too, in case someone's driving and listening to this so they don't have to take notes. Well, it's been a pleasure to talk with you, Katie. Thank you for coming on and sharing and just paying it forward to the next generation of designers. So
thank you so much, Rebecca, for having me, and for your podcast and for what you're doing. I think it's really amazing. And we should all support younger, aspiring interior designers. And younger, I would say younger, it's not about the age, it's just aspiration.
Yes. And younger in the career. Yeah.
Younger in the career, yes.
Yeah, I get it. All right. Well, thank you. So good to talk with you.
Thank you.
So I really enjoyed talking with Katie, and I had the opportunity of returning the favor and being on her podcast, Interior Design Deconstructed. You can go ahead and check that out. We'll have a link for it in the show notes. And that is all I have today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We are coming up to the end of the year. And also, it is December, which means that boot camp registration is open for us to get started in January. So if you're looking to start your business in interior design in 2026, then sign up for Launch Your Business Boot Camp. So that's all I have for you this week. Next week, we'll have another great episode. And until then, stay creative. Thanks for listening. If you love this episode, please leave a rating and a review. This helps me reach other curious creatives like you. If you have a topic request or would like to contact me, simply head over to my website, rwarddesign.com, or email me at podcast@rwarddesign.com.